Welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Jonathan, your host here at QuickBird Gaming. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. I really do appreciate it. So today's video is part of my Collections 101 series, where we walk through how to find collectibles in some of our favorite games. I'm going back to Fallout 4 today and looking at a set of skill magazines, specifically the set titled Astoundingly Awesome Tales. It's a set of 14 magazines, each of which gives the player a unique skill perk. I know that some of the magazines have visible numbers on them, but because they all don't, I'm not going to go through them that way. Instead, I'm going to go through them in the order that they show up in your perk tree, as demonstrated here. You can see that each of the awesomely astounding tales has a perk number assigned to it, so that's the order I'm going to cover them. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first magazine we'll cover is in the Boston Mayoral Shelter on the far west side of the map, titled My Brain and I, A Twisted Love Story. In my opinion, this isn't just the best Astoundingly Awesome Tale magazine perk, it is the best one in the whole game. It returns 1 point of health for every minute that passes. Not actual time, in-game time, which means it works while you're sleeping, it works while you're resting. It's beautiful. So it's a great way to passively restore health. There's no resistance in this dungeon. It's very easy to get to unless you go all the way to the bottom of it, in which case you will trigger a synth invasion. So if you're not on good terms with the Institute, you'll have to fight your way out at that point. Otherwise, it's a very linear path to get down through the top levels and into where the Boston Mayor's family actually resided. And you can see the path I'm walking on right here will take you right to the magazine. It's just sitting on a nightstand, and it's very easy to pick up.
Perfect.
The second magazine is found at the Coast Guard Pier in the south central part of the map. This perk gives a damage bonus to any scoped weapon, which is really nice. Now this place is covered in super mutants. They're all over. Nothing you shouldn't be able to handle though. Just be careful about the frag mines out front. When you get done, walk in the downstairs and come in the cell here.
Excellent.
The third issue, titled Attack of the Metal Men, is found at Dunwich Borers in the northeastern part of the map. It gives 5% less damage bonus against robots, which is nice when you're facing some of the heavy hitters, especially late game, some of the sentry bots and assaultrons. Basically, you saw the computer terminal up there, Mark III. You just need to wind your way down this long shaft. I was in power armor. I probably should have just jumped. Anyway, get down to the bottom and look for the weapons bench, and the magazine will be sitting right on it.
Perfect.
The fourth issue of Astounding Awesomely Tales is located at Hubris Comics in central Boston, and it is titled Attack of the Zetans. Now this issue will give you a 5% damage bonus when using the alien blaster. If you don't ever get the blaster, this one isn't all that useful. However, if you're at Hubris Comics doing the Silver Shroud quest line, you can grab it just because you're already here. It has a pretty cool retro cover. It's kind of neat. It is on the top floor of the Hubris Comics building near the sound studio and is sitting in the restroom just waiting to be picked up.
Yes.
Issue 5 can be found at Pickman's Gallery in East Boston. It's titled The Mad Russian's Revenge. It's way down at the bottom. You'll have to wind your way to the very sub-basement, and it's sitting there in front of the steamer chest on the floor. Now, this one is kind of a pain to get to just because Pickman's is a long, kind of a labyrinth, back and forth with a lot of raiders to fight. This gives +5 poison resistance, which is kind of meh. I wouldn't come down here just for this, but since a lot of players will come down here for the lockpick bobblehead, which is in the same room, you might as well grab it if you're here.
There we go.
Issue 6 is titled Attack of the Fishmen. It's found at the downed wreckage of Skylane's Flight 1981. Now this gives you a 5% damage bonus against mirelurks. Cover's cool. It's got a Creature of the Black Lagoon vibe, and it's found inside one of the restrooms inside the cabin of this downed airliner.
Hell yeah.
Issue 7 is found at Outpost Zamanja in the north-central part of the map. Now, just a word of warning about this one when you approach. It's one of the few places in the game where you're guaranteed to have an opponent with a fat man. One of the raiders here does, and he will use it on you. However, once you get it cleared out, this issue grants a 5% bonus damage at night with all weapons, which I think is great. Half the day, you get a damage bonus. And it's entitled Sinister Seafood, which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, run in here and grab it off the workbench. This cover issue has a neat cover palette, too. I really like the picture on this one.
Yes.
Issue number 8 is found in Vault 114 under Park Street Station, which is in East Boston. You'll be here during the main quest line as part of freeing Nick Valentine. This is after you've freed him and you all are on your way out. You're winding through the living quarters and fighting the Triggermen. Issue number 8 of Astoundingly Awesome Tales is titled The Man Who Could Stop Time. Cool cover, gives you +5 action points. That's so-so to me. It may put you over the top in VATS and give you an extra attack, and maybe just enough to edge up to another attack. It may not. However, you're going to be here doing the quest anyway. It's probably at some point, so you'll walk right past it. You might as well just pick it up.
Perfect.
Issue number 9 is titled A Gorilla Ate My Patrol Car. It's found in the railroad headquarters under the old church in the northeast part of Boston. Now this one requires you to advance the railroad quest far enough that you can actually get into the headquarters. And when you find it, it's here on a desk. This gives +5 damage bonus with a cryolater, which is honestly a weapon I have never used in this game. But if you want it, here it is.
It's all alright.
Hell yeah.
Issue 10 of Astoundingly Awesome Tales is found at the Sentinel site, which is an old pre-war bunker. This is way the hell in the southwest part of the map, off the map, out in the glowing sea, about the nastiest place you'll visit in the game. Now this issue provides a +5 resistance to radiation. That will help mitigate in low radiation environments. It will provide a little protection, but it's not going to make a big difference in something like the glowing sea or dunking yourself in the rivers. Still, if you want it, it's here. It's fairly close to the entrance and easy to find.
Excellent.
Issue 11 is titled Rise of the Radiated, and it is found... Ooh, a little lag there. Sorry about that. It is found at the East Boston Preparatory School north of the airport. Now, this gives a +5% radiation healed by RadAway, which is not a bad perk, I suppose. This building is full of raiders and their guard dogs. You'll kind of have to wind your way through this serpentine path that I'm showing here to get to the top floor. It's not that bad of a fight, though I would be careful. There are frag mines hidden around the rooms through this. You're looking for a room with a busted Nuka-Cola machine by the door, and that's the one where the magazine is. Like I said, it's not a bad perk. You're probably never going to be hurting for RadAway unless you're playing on a higher difficulty or survival mode, but every little bit you save helps.
There we go.
Issue 12 is titled Have Dog Will Travel, and it's in the Institute. Yeah, I know I usually show locations on the world map. You're in the Institute. You can't see anything there. Anyway, be in the central part of the atrium, look for this food service icon, then run forward and go up to the 3rd floor. Now, this issue gives Dogmeat a 10% damage reduction, which I think is great because he's my favorite companion. This is also interesting because I believe this is the only magazine in the game that is technically missable. If you destroy the Institute without picking this up, it will be lost forever. But before you destroy the Institute, if you do, come up here to the 3rd floor through this apartment and run out on the balcony, and there it is.
Hell yeah.
Issue 13 is found at the Crater of Adam, way out in the glowing sea on the edge of the map. Now this issue gives a plus 5% damage bonus against feral ghouls. Passive damage bonuses are always nice, but by the time you pick this up, you will have probably fought most of the feral ghouls you're going to fight in the course of the game already. But, you know, it will help if you run into any more.
Is that silly ringing? Here's a positive take on life with a touch of nostalgia. It's anything goes, like Cole Porter.
There we go.
The last issue we'll talk about, issue number 14, is found at the Trinity Church in Trinity Plaza, which is a little east of Diamond City in central Boston. Now this gives a 5% damage bonus against super mutants, but unlike the last one I discussed, you will still have a lot of super mutants to fight when you find this. The magazine is sitting on the pulpit, so you just work your way around up to the front of the church here and claim your prize.
Excellent.
And there you have it. 14 issues of Astoundingly Awesome Tales in Fallout 4, each with their own cool cover and special perk for your player. I hope this has been a little informative, that maybe some folks have been able to find one or two of those pesky magazines they haven't been able to track down. I will have more Skill Magazine videos coming out soon, and also looking at collections and some of our other favorite games. If you have any requests, please leave a comment below. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know I'm not talking to myself out here. In the meantime, it's back to playing and back to recording. You all stay gaming.